This interview is part of the History Heard project. The content of this interview may be used for historical research. However, no part of the video itself may be reproduced without the express written permission of an authorized representative of History Heard. Today is September 27th, 2012 at 11:30 a.m. This is an interview with Ambassador Anthony Harrington in Washington, D.C. He was born on March 9th, 1941 in Taylorsville, North Carolina. You've done and seen so much. You must have picked up some insights that would be of value to others hoping to follow a similar path of yours. Could you share some of the insights or advice you've picked up?
Well, in my own experience, I'd say a lot of mine was luck. Somebody said it's better to be lucky than smart or something, but so to some extent, opportunities that I've had in government, business, law, and so forth, as you said, have been things that people have brought the opportunities to me, as opposed to it's pretty hard just to seek out a path that is a very specific path and figure there's not going to be any forks in the road. Right. Where you'll adjust somewhat. But there's not much substitute for working very diligently, being very dedicated in the things that you take on. People notice when you work hard and are productive. There's still no substitute for it. You want to surround yourself and work with very talented people and learn from them, rely on them. People have often said it's fine to be surrounded by people who are smarter than you, which suits me just fine. Then I would suggest that one do some worthwhile things sort of outside the box, not just your basic career path, but other things, whether it's public life, political, as I have, or public service, community service, philanthropy. For example, I remember a couple things I'm proud of doing was leading investigation of a police department, not in Washington, but elsewhere, with a record of police brutality against blacks, and working with colleagues at my law firm, now Hogan Lovells, to obtain a court injunction changing the ways, patterns, and so forth of this police department. I also ended up being co-chair of an organization called the National Alliance to End Homelessness, which was co-founded by Susan Baker, the wonderful wife of former Secretary James Baker, back during the Reagan administration. And it was a bipartisan effort to affect policy to provide relief for the problem with homelessness in the U.S., to find best practices, to spread those best practices around the country, bring people together to find solutions and recognize people in public life and the private sector, whether they be companies that devoted resources and talent to the problem of homelessness, or the service providers directly working with the homeless. Take some chances. I, as you mentioned, found myself involved in the business world and involved in helping to create several companies. It took a bit of time and effort. It took risking some money that in the early stages I might not have, I certainly wouldn't have wanted to lose, but things worked out well. Government service, you have to be willing to take a chance standing up for things that you think are right, rather than just worrying that you might receive some criticism. Treat people with respect at all levels. I have always disliked folks that you run across who seem to be very adept at treating people above them with great respect,
Mm-hmm.
and not with their colleagues, and certainly not with people below them.
Right.
And I don't admire that quality, and I don't think it serves anyone well. I noticed that over the years that people in parking lots or housekeeping staffs, offices, and so forth treat me very nicely, and I don't treat them nicely, so they will. It just is a benefit that comes with, being nice to people.
Right.
And then I guess the final thing I would mention, something, we all attend a good many commencements or participate in commencements, and hear great commencement addresses, but with the excitement of the commencement graduation, one rarely remembers what's said. Many times people say the same thing. But I heard a wonderful commencement address at my alma mater of the University of North Carolina a few years ago by John Peter Gomes, who's preacher of the Harvard Memorial Church, in which he had 3 pieces of advice. I've now forgotten, like Governor Rick Perry, I've forgotten a couple of them, but the one that stands out is, and was kind of a surprising one, I've never heard it suggested before, is savor your failures. You're going to have a good many successes in life if you're diligent and stay with it and talented, but you will also have some failures, personal, business, career, whatever. And his suggestion, which I think is well taken, is your successes, you don't learn as much as you do from your failures. Hopefully you don't have an excess of failures, but everyone's going to have some, and they provide a little occasion for reflection and figuring out how you might do something differently. It might have done something differently. It might do something differently in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you.